Is it just me, or does the world feel like it's gonna end soon? Turn on the news these days and you'll be faced with stories about strong weather fluctuations, impending war, protests, illnesses. It's enough to make you ponder a mass apocalypse. Although the world is far from officially ending, we've decided to compile a list of 10 things that could potentially destroy the planet, just so we can all be prepared. Don't say we didn't warn you. You might think that you're safe from black holes, but according to science, you most certainly are not. Black holes are nothing new. In fact, astrophysicists have been discovering black holes across the galaxy for decades. What you might not know about the black hole phenomenon is that science has shown that black holes don't have to be big to make an impact. Even the tiniest black hole has the power to shake up whatever goes through it. Physicists have discovered tiny black holes in the depths of our solar system that could be a potential danger to Earth. These black holes are tiny, about the width of a human hair, yet are as heavy as the moon. The larger holes, which can be detected through radiation technology, are estimated to be between 20 to 100 times the weight of the sun, just to give you an idea of scale. That's one heavy hole, but the mini holes still seem pretty heavy. The issue with these mini holes is that they are undetectable by Earth's radars, yet are just as dangerous as the big guys. They could easily suck Earth into its gravitational pull and throw it off orbit, which could be the beginning of a major weather catastrophe. Alternatively, it could literally pull Earth into its point of no return. These mini black holes are speculated to pass through Earth about once a millennium. Let's hope that they mean next millennium. I know, Earth to Captain Climate Change. We've all heard about the dangers of global warming, but it seems that people are talking about it more and more as the years go by. It's not something we joke about anymore. It's serious, and there's never been more heavily funded. We've all seen the sad polar bear floating on a slowly melting iceberg, but these warnings of climate change are starting to feel like a reality. The last couple of years or so have shown us some strange weather patterns. Snow in Arizona, as well as the hottest May the continental US has experienced since America has started keeping records. According to the World Bank report, a warming of about 4 to 6 degrees Celsius is to be expected. That's 7.2 or 10.8 Fahrenheit. That may not seem like a lot, but on the grand scheme of the Earth, it is. Sea levels will rise, causing thousands of people to relocate, and agriculture will take a big hit. Countries who depend on a certain crop as their main export may not be able to grow it anymore. It could mean serious economic collapse. Geoengineers are planning to counteract the warming by spraying the stratosphere with sulfates. But as history has taught us, it'll probably only make it worse. You might see the idea of nuclear war as belonging in the movies or the fantasies of Kim Jong-un, but it's not as unlikely as you might think. Anyone remember Hiroshima? Nuclear bombs are out there, and they are considered to be one of the most powerful weapons of mass destruction. No, wait, scratch that. They are the most powerful weapon of mass destruction. It might seem like we're destined to get demolished by a nuclear blast, but it's not as apocalyptic as it appears. The good news here is that it's highly unlikely that a nuclear bomb could wipe out the entire planet. It would cause a humanitarian disaster, sure, but it wouldn't completely destroy the Earth and its inhabitants. However, if a nuclear war were to take place, there's a possibility of a post-war nuclear winter. The radiation will cause the Earth's temperature to plummet, food supply would diminish, people would get sick, and many of us would die off. Have you ever played the board game Pandemic? It gets pretty intense pretty quickly. Once a virus is released, it can take over the whole planet if the medical system isn't on their game. We haven't had a big health scare in a while, not since the AIDS epidemic of the 1980s, so you might think that the medical system is doing its job. Let's not forget, though, that the AIDS epidemic happened when there were computers. It wasn't that long ago, so what's stopping it from happening again? On the one side, medicine has advanced exponentially since the days of epidemic diseases like the plague and scarlet fever. People don't die from viral-related ailments anymore. It's just not common in the first world. However, transportation has also become more advanced. People can travel to foreign countries and potentially pick up a bug they've never been exposed to before and expose people in their home country. This is exactly how a pandemic begins. Though it's doubtful that a virus or infection can kill off the entire planet, it might be able to kill off most of the planet, leaving only the ones with immunity to rebuild a new world. They say that the dinosaurs were killed off way back in the Cretaceous era by a giant asteroid that hit the Earth. I'm kinda hazy on the details of how the entire species was actually wiped out, but who's to say that this exact same apocalyptic scenario couldn't happen in our own backyards? The good news is that our planet has a state-of-the-art asteroid tracking system, courtesy of NASA. They're constantly tracking asteroids and comets, and if and when the big one is ever on track for Earth, they would find a way to deflect it. Right now, the plan is to smash a spaceship into it to force it off its path. Hopefully, when the asteroid actually comes, they'll have some better, more refined ideas. I'm sure you've heard of the term solar flares, but I bet you any money you don't know exactly what they are. In a nutshell, solar flares are enormous magnetic outbursts from the sun that bombard Earth with a torrent of high-speed subatomic particles. Got it? Think of them as bursts of fire from the sun, blasting into Earth's hemisphere. Solar flares are actually quite normal, and are the reason why stars flicker, but too much solar activity might signify that the Earth might be in trouble. According to Bradley Schaefer of Yale University, a superflare is always a possibility, which is 100 million times more powerful than a regular old solar flare. In fact, he goes on to say that a superflare could fry the Earth in a matter of hours, and in turn disintegrate the ozone layer. That's bad news for everyone on Earth. Although it's been confirmed that our sun doesn't engage in excessive solar activity, there is yet to be an answer on why solar flares happen at all. For all we know, our sun might get to a certain age where it starts flaring all over the place, and then we'll be in very hot water. I'm sure you've heard throughout your life that the sun is going to eventually die in 4 to 5 billion years, and you probably paid no worry for it because, well, you're not going to be around for that. That might be true, but for the people of the future, it's going to be a downright catastrophe when that eventually happens. In fact, they probably won't even have time to scream. The heat of the explosion will vaporize the Earth, frying us into a million little pieces. The Earth will be vaporized in a snap, and so will the humans, right before their own eyes, which will be vaporized too. To make you just a little uncomfortable with your own mortality, the sun is actually dying a slow, gassy death as we speak. Our sun is mostly made of hydrogen, but when the hydrogen atoms fuse with each other, they become helium. And once the last 2 hydrogen atoms bond, the sun will be pure helium and will die. What a way to go. When the sun dies, it will expand into a red giant, destroying Mercury, Venus, and the Earth in its path. Hopefully the humans of the future will be on Mars when that happens. This one is a bit of a wild card, but hear us out. Right now, the Earth's population is about 7.5 billion, and by 2100 it's estimated to be 11.2 billion. That's quite a jump considering the increase of infertility. People might be living longer though due to better medical care. It wasn't normal to get past age 52 in 1960, for example. A baby born in ancient Greece was expected to live until 30, and that was mainly due to impending war and illness. People still lived to their 70s and 80s back then. It's just that there were many more opportunities to die, as morbid as that seems. We live pretty comfortable lives these days, so life expectancy has gone up to about 72. This leaves a bit of a conundrum though. The more people we have on the planet, the more food, water, and energy we need to provide, and it looks like we're running out. Stephen Hawking himself has said that Earth's only hope is to colonize on another planet. Christopher Columbus did it when he discovered the New World, but there are no new worlds left, and we're running out of space. It's simple math. More people to feed equals less resources. Seriously, if you're unsure about anything these days, just blame aliens. Wonder how the world's gonna end? It's probably aliens. Sightings are becoming more and more common, and everyone seems to know someone who has claimed to see an alien spaceship. It's no longer taboo to say that you believe in the green men from another galaxy. In fact, the New York Post recently reported that 50% of people believe that aliens exist. That's way more than I would have thought. Even Stephen Hawking has said that if we were ever contacted by aliens, we should be wary of answering back. Remember what happened when Americans stumbled upon Native American tribes? Yeah, not so friendly. I guess it all comes down to the classic battle. Robots versus aliens. Who will conquer all? According to tech giant Elon Musk and our good friend Stephen Hawking, the development of artificial intelligence could mean the end of humans. Musk says that the growing popularity of robots could also signal the start of World War III. But it's not that the robots will be inherently evil. It's that countries who are way ahead of everyone else in terms of technology like China and Russia will utilize artificial intelligence to build robot armies. I mean, why wouldn't they? Seems like a no-brainer. Hawking, though, has other concerns. He thinks that artificial intelligence could take on a life of its own, spiraling out of control like a cyber Audrey 2. Either way, it doesn't seem like robots are going to be a good addition to Earth. Every 780,000 years or so, the Earth's magnetic field disintegrates and then reappears flipped, so the North Pole is south and the South Pole is north. If this sounds confusing, it is. All you really need to know is that the magnetic field around the Earth is responsible for deflecting particle storms as well as cosmic rays from the sun. If and when the field rebuilds itself, we could experience some pretty tragic weather. Also, animals depend on the energy of the poles for migration. Instead of going south for the winter, geese could be flying north. Who knows what kinds of effects this would have on our infrastructure? So there you have it. 10 scarily realistic ways the world could end. We hope you enjoyed the video and try not to worry too much. For all we know, you'll be gone before the mass apocalypse happens. Hopefully.